Welcome to the party.
Greg, how are we, sir?
Hi, how's it going?
Man, your head's red.
Yeah, I did a little yard work today, and evidently I
Yeah,
got
does it
I got
hurt?
a not yet. It will later.
Looks like it's gonna hurt for sure, for sure. I thought you
uh,
were a hat wearing man. No?
I usually am. It was one of those I figured I'd mow the lawn today and it would be quick, but not quick enough by the
Oh,
looks of it. I didn't even really notice that much
how's
until
it up in Wisconsin?
um we were high 80s today, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
But there's supposed to be that I don't know if you guys are hitting hit with the tropical storm.
No.
Yeah, there's
Is there
a
one
tropical.
coming?
Yeah, it hit in Texas and looks like it's like beelining straight north.
Oh well, we might.
And yeah,
It's
you
supposed. Oh,
it's supposed to hit us like or like this the after effects of it. It's not tropical storm strength, but it'll be like they said like 40-mile-an-hour winds, thunderstorms,
all right.
which I'm down for. I like that stuff.
By the way, for anybody that's listening to this, this is going to be about 2 weeks. And we're talking about a storm. That'll
Yeah,
be
that's
two
true.
weeks past.
Oops.
How's it going out there for you, man?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Doing all right. And there was a couple local demonstrations, protests kind of thing.
Did you attend any?
I did attend one for a little bit. My daughter really and her
Were you?
friends wanted to be active and go, and so I had
Yeah.
to check it out. And it was organized by a high school senior, so it was a
Okay.
lot of high school kids that
Yeah.
and just wanted
Yeah.
to be vocal and show support. And so I dropped her off, and I was going to just drop her off and go. And I went, I'm gonna take a look. I want to take a look, check it out. And it's
Yeah.
not that I'm not wanting to be supportive, but I did have to work, and so I took my lunch break and just kind of hung out. And the kids were great. I mean, it was good. They were supportive. There was no. I mean, there wasn't even like bad language. I mean,
Oh, good.
it was just all real supportive kind of things.
Good. That's the way it should be. That's the
It
way
was.
it's. That's good.
There were a
Um.
couple
Yeah.
groups of people or individual, and they were really just individuals that were against the protest that were kind of like tearing up and down the street with flying their like opposing flags and yelling at people as they went by. But it was very well policed. Like the cops were very much there in support. Um,
Good.
like just we're here to keep people safe. We're here to serve and protect, and
Yeah.
did a great job. And for people that were reckless, um, they just were like, yeah, well, no, you don't have to do that right now, and they would shut them down and be like, if you want to demonstrate, then you can demonstrate the opposing side. That's your right to do, but you can't be recklessly driving. You can't
Yeah. Of course, you got to
just
keep
be
it safe.
yeah,
Yeah.
just you can't be reckless. You can't be a menace. And so it was cool. It was
Yeah.
nice to see. So
I always wonder. The lovely Mrs. Trejo sent me a message to do a protest in my neck of the woods. I couldn't.
mm-hmm.
I already had plans. I would like to have attended, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
But my first question was, what's like proper etiquette? How long do you stay there? How long do you know?
Yeah.
I don't know any of that. Like, I don't like when you go there. Do you just march with them? And what happens if you like? How long do protests last? Hours? Like, I don't know.
Uh,
I guess it would be depending on the protest, right?
right. I don't know if there is protocol for
Yeah.
that. I guess I don't know.
If
Uh,
anybody does, let us know. We
yeah,
don't
I,
know.
I, I can say today, we got there around noon, and I picked her up around 5, and
Oh,
it was like everybody had cleared out. Like
okay.
you saw some remnants of like people kind of going and into like the coffee shops or
Yeah.
just kind of sitting kind of on the green with their
Yeah.
signs just hanging out. But
Yeah.
the active protest had ended. So
Hmm. Hmm. Well, oh, I wanted to mention this before we transit. This is going to be a rough transition now because I'm throwing something in here that has nothing to do with what we just got done saying. But for those of you that are watching us on video and thinking we're getting scruffier and scruffier, it's because Greg and I are growing our beards. Um, I don't know how long we're actually attempting it.
We really didn't discuss this. It just kind
No.
of happened.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. I'm thinking Labor Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, grow it to Labor Day. What do you think?
Oof.
You think you can pull that off?
I don't know.
No? All right.
I don't know.
Hey.
I don't know if my marriage will let me pull it off. Um, I'll keep it going for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to go until it doesn't, and I'll probably talk to you before it does. But
All right.
like I said, I'm getting, I'm getting this here,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I saw.
these wings that are popping out,
Yeah.
and they're just very uneven. I put it on, but
It actually, it doesn't look bad.
I'm starting to do like more of the like actually taking care of it and just
Yeah. Yeah.
and not letting it go.
I
all
think that's a
willy-nilly.
that's a big step that nobody tells you. And you have those people out there who go, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just putting shampoo and conditioner on it. I'm just that.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me. Whoever it works for, that's great. If anybody's listening to this and they know of good products or they know anybody that's looking to, I don't know, sponsor us, we will gladly try your products and we will let you know what we think. So,
Are you getting
going,
any flack from the wife on it, or
no, nothing. I'm getting
nothing?
flack from outside sources, but
Yeah.
not definitely not the wife. She's pretty cool with it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's always been good about that. She's like, you want to grow your hair long? Do it. You want to do this? Do it.
Hmm.
Like, I don't care. So I'm lucky like that. But I wanted to talk about, I sent you a text today. This is again, we're taping on a Monday. I believe it's
Mm-hmm.
the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because of all the protests and Black Lives Matter and this movement that is happening now. Um, Minnesota is canceling their police force for community-led public safety.
Well, at this point, they're trying to. Like
Right.
when this actually drops, maybe they have, maybe they haven't. I can't tell.
Yeah.
The bulk of their city council is in favor of it, though.
Right. What do you think about that? Wait.
Well,
Hang on. You seem very educated. My first thought was a bunch of Karens and Dwight Schrutes running around acting like
oh, I
peacekeepers.
get okay.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. My knee jerk reaction is because it was just they wanted to disband the like every headline says Minneapolis wants to disband their police force,
Right.
and that was it. No mention of an alternative plan, no mention of okay, we want to do this instead of having a city run police force
Yeah.
because there can't be nothing. It can't be the Wild
Of course
West.
not. Of
I
course
mean
not. Yes.
that's not going to work.
No.
Um, I was talking with my wife about it, and she said she had read somewhere, and I didn't. I honestly work was nuts, and I didn't have time to research it that much. That they want to do like smaller police departments within like almost like the different sections of the city.
Okay. Does
Which
Minneapolis have just one large police department?
well, they've got, and that's just it. It's one large police department that's broken into precincts.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay.
So I think, if I'm understanding it right, I think it's going to be like each precinct would become like its own police department. And
Okay.
if that's the case, there's good and there's bad of that because
So the police officers. So from what I'm understanding here, you're saying the police officers are still keep their job. It's just restructured.
I think there would be a massive, I think there would be a massive layoff and then
Yeah.
a massive rehiring process.
Okay.
Like they have to go through, and they already do go through some like psychological evaluation.
Yeah.
It would just be probably more of that or different. I don't because through all this, and I'm very supportive of police departments. I mean, I'm not going to
Right.
say that
Of
I'm not.
course.
Um, I did have one person that I know that lives up there, and she's like, yes, totally supportive of police departments, but understand that the Minneapolis Police Department is super corrupt and they need to change. And I'm like, this is a person she's not super right, she's not super left, she's very much kind of in that middle ground, but is saying like, yeah, they like unless you're up there, you don't understand how messed up a lot of them are.
Really? Wow.
Yep, and I mean, she's
I just don't picture that in
a bit.
Minnesota.
I don't know. Well, did you ever see Fargo?
Yeah, but that's North Dakota.
Well, that's true. But I think kind of that same type of like mob mentality, not mob mentality, but even like organized crime, that like that northern type of organized crime. I think that all exists.
Oh, I'm sure it all does.
I mean,
It's just funny. When I picture Minneapolis, I just picture I picture a very cold city, a lot of snow, and I just picture I don't know. I picture kind of Wisconsin people. I
It
don't.
is. It is. I mean, Viking stock, Norwegian and German descent. I mean, all that's up there. But at the same time, I've read enough about human trafficking. Like they say the human trafficking superhighway starts in Chicago, comes up through Milwaukee into like Stevens Point or La Crosse into Minnesota and up to Minneapolis, and then they cross over and into Canada. So Minneapolis, St. Paul is like a hub of human trafficking, partially also because their airport there is international.
Oh,
And anytime you have that, I mean, human trafficking
yeah,
is like one of the number one crimes in the world.
right.
Anytime you have that, there's got to be corruption.
Yeah, because you have to get paid to look the other way, and
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's a shame.
So
Speaking of human trafficking, you ever watch that the last Rambo movie?
I haven't ever since you texted me about it. It's been on my list, but I just haven't brought myself
Oh
to.
my God, did I love that movie?
Really?
It was gratuitous violence, like
Yeah.
just off the wall, but I loved every second of it because he's taking on human traffickers. So I'm
Right,
like, this
right.
is awesome. This is awesome. Just
Yeah.
destroy these people, you know? I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. But anyway, going back to the community-led policing, I looked it up.
Yeah.
This co-policing model is called community-led policing. Members of the public do not merely serve as an adversary capacity to the police, rather they have an equal, if not leading role in determining how their community is to be policed.
Okay.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Does it say where that model has been successful?
Yes, I was looking for that and they haven't told me. So if you can actually find places where it is, can you get on your internet while I talk about the 3 P's of community policing? Community policing is defined as involving 3 key components: developing community partnerships, engaging in public problem solving, and implementing community policing organizational features. There's a lot to go over here of this. I looked up the disadvantages of it too. It says a major disadvantage is that the only way the community policing is with community involvement.
Right.
Did I say that right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There must be an established partnership between the police officers and the community. Without the trust and involvement of the community, any attempts at community policing will fail. So it sounds to me like Minnesota's thinking this is the way to go to cut out the corruption.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're just waiting. What other models have been successful like that?
Well, and I'm looking up community policing success stories.
Okay.
And not a lot touting like this is an absolute success. Community-oriented policing success strategies, and the first place they come up is Whiteville, is a small southern city in Columbus County in the southeast section of the state. but which state? It's not telling me.
No. Yeah, it's just interesting. Like my first thought was that this is a bad idea because I thought that if you take out police, now you're basically remember RoboCop where they had OCP take over the police force.
Yeah, as a corporate.
Yeah, it was a corporate thing. So I thought now you start getting corporate people putting in their police force, and then it now it becomes: are you doing this for the public, or are you doing this for your shareholders? You know?
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it's still run through
Yeah,
like a public
I
office.
I don't know where I read it, but what I read was as budget cuts were happening in certain cities, when they implemented this, they had like regular people with no training, no sworn in. They were not sworn in, but they were handling dispatch, forensics. Yeah, that's the first thing that I was like, whoa. But there was nothing saying that it was a success or a failure. So I didn't get. I was. It's weird because I've never heard this before, and I'm kind of under the impression that we've always had this is what it's always been. But I guess not.
Yeah. Some of my initial concerns kind of goes to like if it is those individual precincts just becoming their own police entities.
Yes.
How does that work in terms of funding? Because if it's anything like the school systems, then funding is going to be based on the tax base of that particular neighborhood, which means your very well-to-do neighborhoods, that police force is going to be very well funded because the tax base is higher and those property values are higher. So then they get more money as opposed to like your kind of more rundown urban.
The old adage, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, kind of that almost urban decay kind of piece. Then those police forces are going to be very underfunded, and you're not going to get cops that want to work there because it's they're not going to get. I mean, it would be probably the more high crime areas, just because that tends to happen. Yeah. And then you're going to have to pay those cops less because that's what your budget dictates, or give them not great equipment or whatever it is, and that's going to instantly fail. I mean. Yeah, that's not a success story at all.
No. It says here, however, in the period of budget cuts during which law enforcement agencies were expected to do more with less, finding enough resources to go around was difficult. Consequently, I can't say this word. Thank you. Law enforcement agencies started hiring more civilians to handle supporting roles such as dispatch, crime scene forensics, record keeping, and other administrative duties. The practice of hiring civilians for non-sworn roles had cost-saving advantages as well, and in some jurisdictions, civilians now provided up to 50% of law enforcement workforce. I just don't know if this.
So, I mean, but they're not out on the streets. Then they're not doing the actual law enforcement. They're doing other things.
Yeah, it seems to me that. I get maybe that would help if a police officer came in and after an arrest they did all the paperwork, but I don't know if that's what that means by that.
Yeah, I think that's partially what it means by that. I think in terms of like booking, which is paperwork, then that would be done by like a civilian.
Yeah,
volunteer maybe, or
I don't know. I got to look more into this and see how this model works, and if there is any successful towns that are doing this.
Well, I mean, a friend of mine is the police chief up here of a very small town.
Yeah,
and he's got an article coming out I'm trying to find the publication. And his philosophy that he's implemented in his municipality.
Yeah.
He says over the past 5 years, crime is down 87%. So we talk a lot about different stuff. He and I were Facebook messaging back and forth.
Yeah.
I think he listened to the show and just really wanted to know. The official publication is the IACP. It's in a police chief magazine. I don't know what IACP is, but it basically said, well, in his he says it's basically says hire good people and create a good work culture, and good things happen and have positive outcomes. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says everybody's talking about excessive force, which is true. The deeper issue lies in the general contempt and disrespect that some officers care for humanity. Basically, they lose sight and that they are serving everyone, the victim, the suspect, everyone, and then they start to treat people like crap, and people mirror that behavior back at them. So he's talking about.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, these cops that should probably, and he's talking about they should not be cops. They're assholes, and when people are assholes back, then they get upset, and that's how issues can start. And I asked him, I said, so how do you weed these guys out? Like, what's the strategy? And he said hiring strategies have to change.
Not anybody can be a cop, right? Like, what do you have to pass? What do you have to?
Well, it depends on the place you're going. But in most places, it's a minimum. You need to have an associate's degree in criminal justice, and you have to go through the academy. Now, you have to go through the academy anywhere.
Yeah.
But a lot of people up around in Wisconsin, the colleges, UW-Platteville has a criminal justice 4-year degree. And while you're in there, you go through the academy so that when you graduate from college, you have everything.
Okay.
So that's...
All right. Well, I mean, so it's not as bad as I first thought.
Yeah.
But I have to do a lot more research to understand this. If anybody knows what this is, or if anybody wants to give any police officers that listen to this podcast that want to give their opinions about what they think this is, or if they've heard of anybody that is under this type of new model, let us know in the comments below, or reach out to us on our Facebook page or our Instagram.
Yeah, and James, if you're listening and you want to chime in, we'd love to talk to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just get more of a wrap my head more around this to understand how this would work. But,
and the guy I'm talking about, James, he's a law enforcement scholar. Like, I've had some conversations with him, and he's...
Wait, is that an actual term, or are you just...
No, I mean...
invent a term?
I don't know if I invented the term, but he's super smart when it comes to law enforcement.
Cool.
He's got his finger on the pulse of, like, current strategies and whatnot that would be...
he sounds like he'd be a fun guest to talk to. Absolutely.
He could.
Yeah.
He could be.
Yeah. We'd love to hear from you, big guy. So I think we'll end it with that one. And we'll transition to our fact of the day. Random fact is... Okay, this is kind of weird. There are children known as Givendosis in the Dominican Republic that do not grow their penises until around puberty.
What?
Many are assumed to be the female until then. That is so weird. How do they not grow their penises until puberty?
I don't know. I'm looking.
You don't know? You don't know that one, Greg?
No, I don't.
They didn't teach that in Whitewater?
It's a new one for me. It's a new one.
Yeah.
Never heard of this.
I agree. You got it?
No. How do you spell? Okay.
GUEVEDOCES.
Okay.
What do you got? That's weird. That sounds really weird. That doesn't even seem right.
Wow.
Oh, are you looking at pictures? You looking at pictures?
No, we're not
Oh.
looking at pictures.
Well, I mean, sometimes that comes up.
No, I just went to the wiki site, and
Yeah.
yeah, due to deficiency in the product of the 5-alpha reductase is an enzyme involved in the metabolism of testosterone.
And that certain group, it
Yeah.
doesn't kick in until puberty.
For scientific investigations of this occurred in the 1970s. A doctor and endocrinologist from Cornell University traveled to the village of Salinas in the Dominican Republic to investigate reports of apparently female children becoming male at the onset of puberty. This cause was determined to be an A-alpha reductase deficiency, and the results were published in the Journal of Science in 1974. The frequency was found to be unusually high in Salinas, with a ratio of 1 to 90 unaffected males.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually looking at something called the Prater scale. It actually grows. Like, I thought maybe it'd be a small penis, but there is no penis in the beginning, and it actually grows.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That is weird. And that's only in that certain area.
Well, it's more concentrated in that area is what I'm seeing.
Wow.
How?
So, yeah.
Huh.
Wow. So we're tackling a bunch of stuff we have no idea about today.
Yeah. That's just weird, man.
That is so weird. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, there's your fact of the day, folks. We can't really dive any more into that except,
I want to.
yeah, if you're interested, it's here in all of its glory. It's weird. It's not gross. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I've never
heard of it. So I only heard about this in frogs, and that was from Jurassic Park. You know that movie? Yeah.
You know that movie? No, do tell.
You can
What's
tell
that?
I'm
bad about
uncomfortable right now. Wasn't it a good movie?
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So we'll end it there, folks. So thank you for listening. Johnny and the Greg podcast. We are out. See you later, guys.